Hello everybody and welcome to Dynamic GT League's Race 3 of the GR3EVO Cup from Alsace village. Let's take a look at the current driver standings, and Mandalorian is leading the way on 37 points ahead of Demonar on 35. SGP not too far behind on 32 points. Then it's a 10-point gap to Fluffy Planet, who's in 4th. Steve F1 is a point behind him in 5th, and Dave the Harp a point behind him in 6th. Formula Gary not too far away in 7th place, and he's followed by Jason, Groover, Bunsel, Twilight, SRI and Rich Blues, with 3 drivers yet to score a point. Taking a look at the grid order for today's race, which is in reverse championship standings order, not reverse result order from the previous race. And Rich Blues once again on pole position, and Twilight will be joining him on the first row. Bunsel and Groover are on row 2, while Formula Gary and Dave the Harp are on row 3. Steve F1 and Fluffy Planet row 4, while SGP and Demonar are on row 5. Mandalorian starts in 11th place, and Con Reese, being a new driver, starts in 12th. Unfortunately, SRI, Tyler, Schumacher and Jason unable to make the race. Before we do get on to the action, got a quick message from the DGT League admins. Okay, so everybody is ready. It's time to race, and joining me on commentary is James.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one, this.
Drivers are ready then. Rich Blues sitting on pole position once again. The new boy Con Reese starts at the back as we get ready for the lights to go out, and away they go. It's a poor start from Rich Blues though. Too much wheel spin. Twilight takes the lead, and Bunsel is battling into turn 1.
Yeah, and also, we've got Groover going sideways, doing a bit of drifting. That's knocked Bunsel out, and Twilight's in the lead.
I think Groover may have got a tag on his rear end, which caused him to go sideways there, so he's done well to control it and hold on to second. That's allowed Rich Blues to recover to 3rd place, as Dave the Harp is now attacking him. This is absolutely frantic around the Alsace village. Oh, Dave the Harp having a look up the inside. Can he make it? Can he make it? He might do. And Con Reese has gone wide. I think he may have been helped out there, but around he spins, so he started at the back, and now he's further back than back of the back.
Yeah, and Dave the Harp's fighting with Mandalorian, and he started on the back row of the grid.
Yeah, that he did. Mandalorian currently leading the championship standings as Dave the Harp slides into 3rd place. Rich Blues gets a little bit of a nudge, and that's SGP, I think, trying to attack as well. Yes, it is. All over the back of Steve F1. So Mandalorian and SGP are making places straight away on this opening lap.
Yeah, Demonar's down in 8th place right now. He needs to start making moves, as SGB's up to 5th and Mandalorian's already up to 3rd.
As usual, James, we're on for a 40-minute race around the Alsace village as SGP is attacking the back of Dave the Harp. He's got the outside line here, which will become the inside line into the tricky hairpin, but Dave the Harp covers it off beautifully.
Yeah, slid in there saying no thank you, but he's almost lost the rear end on traction, and now, SGP's up the hill, up his rear end.
That he is. He might actually be side by side by now. Twilight though currently leading the race. I did say currently leading the race and opening up a gap.
Yeah, so now we've got Mandalorian closing in on Groover for P2. So Mandalorian's really taking no prisoners, and here we go. Down it was, turn 1. Is Groover going to cover the inside?
No, he's not. Mandalorian goes for it. Groover tries to defend it a little too late, but Mandalorian, my God, my voice does not want to work today. Mandalorian makes the move into second place, and David Harp is now attacking Groover. The interesting thing about this track and championship, James, is the reverse championship standings grid order, which is why we've had the likes of Mandalorian, Demon R, SGP, Steve F1 starting at the back of the grid.
Ooh, there's the clop of the curb there. That's made him run wide, and that's SGP through. Is Steve F1 and Demon R through? I'm not too sure. Here we go.
It looks like Steve F1 may be through, but he's now going to have the inside line into the long cambered right-hander. No, it's not, because it's not that corner yet. The Demon R's actually slipped straight between the two of them. Steve F1, though, retakes the position. That's a lovely bit of driving as SGP is all over the back of Groover. This is absolutely frantic stuff. We've got more overtakes in 1.5 laps than the French Grand Prix.
Indeed, so here we go. SGP, is he going to take it round the outside of the never-ending right-hander?
He is. He's going to try at least. Groover, he's got the tight line, and it becomes the slower line on the exit of the corner. So SGP is through, and Demon R is still behind Steve F1. Steve F1 is immediately attacking Groover. That's a lovely move, opportunistic but lovely. Oh, and Demon R tags the back of Groover as Dave the Harp is all over the back of Demon R, fighting off Bunsell, Conreese and Formula Gary.
Yeah, so here we go up the hill into the final sector, and yeah, it's a very awkward turn that, and yeah, you've got to slam it down in the third, the drivers are telling us, just to get a decent bit of turning. But here we go, Dave the Arp and Demon R fighting away behind Groover.
No, Dave the Arp's ran a little bit wide, and that's allowed Bunsell to attack. Demon R, no, he's going for the pit lane. That is a surprisingly early pit stop. Anyone that pits before Mandalorian, it's an early pit stop.
Well, we were seeing at the previous race in Italy, Mandalorian pitted after 2 laps, and he went on to win the race. So this could be an omen for Demon R.
I mean, just to try and put it into perspective, James, why would the likes of Demon R pit this early? Because it isn't going to be because of tyre.
The reason he'd want to pit this early is because the slipstream, or the boost of all the cars in front. If you're not getting through the pack quite as quickly as other drivers, you may as well pit, have fresher tyres, and then easily make your way through the field with just superior grip.
Yeah, and when other drivers have to make their pit stops as well. Okay, so SGP and Steve F1 still fighting. Oh, Formula Gary, he was making a nice move on Conreese there and managed to do it. Steve F1 is back ahead of SGP. Groover's in a little bit of no man's land at the moment, but this is epic stuff already. We're only on lap 3.
Yeah, so SGP giving Steve F1 a good run for his money, but Steve F1 doing a fantastic job. But who's also doing a fantastic job is the race leader, Twilight. He's keeping a good gap out in front.
Yeah, he definitely is. Oh, SGP's gone deep into the hairpin. It's so easy to do there, but he manages to recover. Yeah, Twilight's doing an absolutely storming job. Oh, in the background, the pack is looking mental. But yeah, got to say, Twilight, what a race so far for the Silver Shadow, as he is now known. And he's got Mandalorian hunting him down, but to be fair, Twilight is more than capable of racing. We've seen that in the past.
Yeah, so here we go, down it was, turn 1. We can see that Mandalorian's ever so slightly closing in on Twilight. Do you think Twilight's going to give him a good run for his money?
I think he definitely could do, that's for sure. But what Mandalorian's got to be careful of is that Steve F1 is not far behind him and bringing SGP along. And I know we mentioned at the last race that 2 people you don't want hunting you down is Mandalorian and Demon R. But to be fair, having Steve F1 and SGP all hunt you down as well is just as stressful as Mandalorian. I think he's got much better tyres at this stage of the race, and he's attacking now already. Is he going to go for a little bit of a switchback? Yeah, it looks like it.
Yeah, but Twilight, he's just got enough grip to stay in front, but he's left the door wide open. Will Mandalorian go for it? I think he will, but if he does, he's going to have to leave the car's width.
You know what, I think that's it, quite interesting from Twilight. Oh, Twilight's kept the position. I was going to say, he's driving in a way that's not going to hurt his tyres, so I'm guessing his tyres are slowly on their way out. He's kind of not putting himself in a position of danger, but making the other drivers work. I like that.
Yeah, indeed. So right now, Steve F1 and SGP are queuing up to try and get past Twilight, and they're going to go side by side.
Yeah, interestingly, SGP taking that tighter line made Steve F1 have to give him the room, which meant he had to slow down, which got him side by side. But Steve F1 recovers beautifully into the hairpin to hold SGP behind him. Just to let you know as well, Demonar has now got himself back up to 6th place after having made the pit stop. So he's already pretty much back up to where he was before he pitted.
Yeah, plus he's got 2 lap pressure tyres compared to these guys. So no matter what, he's going to probably be going quicker than these guys out in front. But SGP trying it round the outside, which is now becoming the inside. Steve F1, is he going for the pit lane?
He is, and so is Twilight. I thought Twilight's tyres may be on their way out, so that obviously definitely seen. Ridge Blues also into the pit lane as Demonar attacks Con Reese into turn 1. Up the inside he goes. So Demonar now sitting in 3rd place with only SGP and Mandalorian ahead of him, and there they are just up the road, and they haven't pitted yet, but it's a very short pit stop here, James.
Yeah, so what he wants to be able to close in on the front 2 before they pit, and that'll mean that he's in prime position then. So he's basically had a free pit stop then.
Yeah. Dave, is that Fluffy Planet? Yeah, Fluffy Planet attacking Bunso on the exit of the right-hand sort of cambered hairpin there. With Dave the Harp fighting back though. This is fantastic stuff. Steve F1 after his pit stop is still behind Twilight, and he's in this gaggle of traffic. Oh, Steve F1 looking up the inside. I think he's got the move done, has he? Yes, he has, and he's already on the back of Bunso. With Dave the Harp, wasn't a lot he could do about Fluffy Planet there, which is credit to Fluffy Planet, to be fair.
Yeah, indeed. So here we go. Steve F1, brand new tyres, making his way through the pack with Twilight. Can he get past Dave the Harp? Twilight's making his move on Bunzel into the never-ending right-hander.
Fluffy is all over the back of Con Reese as well, and I think Con Reese is actually on the soft compound tyre, whereas I think everybody else is on the super soft compound tyre. Fluffy Planet having a look, Con covers it off. Con Reese being the new driver in the DGT League, sporting a foreshore livery, and driving quite nicely, I've got to say.
Yeah, indeed, Dave the Arch just lost out there to Steve F1, so expect Fluffy Planet to be coming under pressure. He's putting on the pressure right now, but it won't be for long.
Yeah, that is true. Mandalorian getting a little bit twitchy, and he's heading into the pit lane, and SGP follows him in. So Demonar takes the lead. Oh my God, what is wrong with my lips and my tongue?
Well, the lips of your tongue, I don't know, but your lips are different to your tongue. I didn't know you had lips on your tongue.
I thought I'd said lips and my tongue, but anyway.
Oh, right. No. Yeah, Demonar there. He basically turned up behind SGP and Mandalorian, and they pitted, so that were pretty much a free pit stop, cash in hand.
Yeah, so that's put him into first ball. Con Reese having a look up the inside of Fluffy Planet. Fluffy Planet sees he's there, gives him the room, but I think Fluffy Planet, yeah, he's got the better tyres at this moment in time. So Fluffy Planet is now up to 2nd place. I'm not sure if Fluffy has pitted yet, but we know that Steve F1 has. So currently Steve F1 could be next 2nd if Con Reese and Fluffy Planet have both not stopped.
Yeah, so here we go, Con Reese leaving a car's width. That's nice to see, but that's going to allow Mandalorian through, and he's there with brand new tyres.
And if you hear some funny noises coming out of Con Reese's car, it could be because Ahmed is giving it silence. I kill you.
Ahmed?
Yeah, you've no idea who it is. You made the livery, you've no idea what it is. On the rear screen of Con Reese's car, the rear window, it looks like Ahmed the Dead Terrorist.
No, that's the Terminator.
All right, it looks like Ahmed. Well, it either looks like Ahmed or 2 iced buns with cherries on them. But anyway, SGP with the shredded wheat livery making the move on Con Reese, and Con Reese getting very sideways now. That's the difficulty with a soft compound tyre. They slide about a little bit too much around this track. Steve F1 though is on the back of Fluffy Planet. And I've got to say, Demonar's got himself a decent lead, and with it only being, about an 8-second pit stop here, if Demonar can have anything close to 6-7 second gap, he's in a great position. But Fluffy Planet, what a drive he's having so far, sitting in 2nd place as Con Reese goes for the pit lane.
Yeah, if Demonar's going to have a challenge in this race right now, I say it's going to be between Steve F1, Mandalorian as he's trying it round the outside, and SGP, but they need to get past Fluffy Planet if they want to be taking the fight to him. They cannot be being held up for much longer.
Yeah, definitely. also, or was Mandalorian having a look at the inside of Fluffy Planet? Fluffy Planet giving him plenty of room there, but it is the slower line the Mandalorian has taken. But Steve F1 has followed him through there as well. Or has he? No, Fluffy Planet's fighting back.
Yeah, that's good to see from Fluffy Planet. I thought he was pretty much just lying down and letting people through, but I think he were expecting to carry a bit more speed through that corner. But Mandalorian on them fresh tyres just absolutely blitzed his way through. So Demon R right now, I think the gap is about 3 seconds, maybe 4 to Mandalorian. There he is.
Yeah, it's about 4 seconds. I've just counted it.
And SGP needs to be using some of that shredded weight to shred his way through the field.
That he is. Okay, Steve F1 all over the back of Formula Gary. No, he's not. It's Fluffy Planet, and SGP is there as well. Twilight is just ahead of Dave the Harp in the background as well. There we go, just seeing them there, and that is Formula Gary that's behind Davey. Oh, Steve F1 having a look up the inside of not SGP, of Jesus bloody hell, Fluffy Planet.
Fluffy. Yeah, there we go. And all that's happening right now is Fluffy Planet's holding these two guys up. Mandalorian's just been able to slightly pull away.
Yeah, that he is. You know that things are not... Are we in a different dimension? You've not made a mistake yet, and I'm making one every time I speak.
That's because you need to take some CBD oil, I think.
Quite possibly. Either that or I need me weak to bits.
Oh, Fluffy Planet, where's he going?
Into the pit lane.
If he didn't know that SGP was there, he needs his eyes checking.
Or at least he needs new mirrors on his car. I'll tell you what, Twilight got very sideways as well through the final corners. Formula Gary though with a beautiful livery on his car today, just ahead of Twilight. So those two have been battling. Dave Harper's managed to get ahead of them. SGP is still all over the back of Steve F1, and with Fluffy Planet having pitted, he was having a great race, but it has now freed up these two to go and try and hunt down Mandalorian, as SGP having a look up the inside of Steve F1, and Steve F1 just about gives him the car's width and stays ahead. But one of the things I wanted to say, James, about Fluffy Planet was, you can definitely tell he's changed his style of driving. He's aware when people are going for a move in a corner, giving him the space to try and maximise his own exit, as SGP maximises the exit there, making the move on Steve F1 and then cuts him up into the next corner. Beautiful move there, and Mandalorian is closing the gap on the leader.
Yeah, it was far enough ahead there just to close the door, which was very nice to see. It just meant that Steve F1, rather than being able to carry speed through the corner, meant that he just had to slam on the brakes. But here we go, Demon R, he's under pressure. His tyres are a few laps older than Mandalorian, but that gap that he wanted to keep has just been absolutely eroded away, and now we've got a battle for the lead.
Yeah, we have. I mean, Demon R pitted 11 minutes ago, and Mandalorian pitted 5 minutes ago. That's the difference in tyre wear, and that's why Mandalorian is all over the back of Demon R. But Demon R going defensive, and this is an interesting situation now. I really can't believe I can't speak today. An interesting situation, because Demon R could just say, okay, you're faster at the moment, I'll let you go, but he's not, he's defending, and the reason for that would be he needs to hold up Mandalorian now.
Yeah, if he lets Mandalorian through, that could be his strategy out of the window. Right now, he needs to hold up Mandalorian as much as possible, because if he can do that and he can keep the pack quite close behind as well, then that just prevents Mandalorian from being able to pull a gap, pit, and come out in front of the pack.
Exactly, and side by side they almost go. I mean, it's a tricky track to defend on, but you can defend around this one. It is a tricky track to overtake on as well, though, isn't it, James? It can be done, as we might be about to see.
I thought Mandalorian were going to shove it up the inside there, but no, he thought better of it. He's gone for a bit of a switchback. Once again, Demon R just got absolutely just enough grip to keep himself in play for a defence.
Yeah, and manages to hold on to the position. I've got a feeling though this next right-hander is going to be a bit difficult with worn tyres. Side by side they go. Mandalorian on the outside line, that's the faster line around this corner, and Demon R, oh yeah, he's being pinched. Mandalorian's going to be coming past here. That's a beautiful move from Mandalorian, but Demon R's still there or thereabouts.
Yeah, so here we go into what I call a hairpin. I don't know if you call it that. It feels like a hairpin from watching the onboards.
Today I call it a hairpin.
Well, there we go. So, but all that's happened there, because that took so long for Mandalorian to get through, that's just allowed the rest of the pack to slowly close in on these guys. So I don't know whether Demonar's going to try and stay out and extend the stint, or get himself in that pit lane for some fresh rubber.
Yeah, I mean, pitting as early as he did, it would usually dictate multiple stops, but SGP has followed Demonar into the pit lane, so if Demonar's early pit stop surprised a few people, then SGP pitting at the same time as Demonar might surprise a few people. This is interesting. Okay, so what have we got elsewhere? Fluffy Planet all over the back of Dave the Harm, and Fluffy Planet having a great race. Demonar's come out in the middle of the pack in 6th place, ahead of SGP.
Yeah, so SGP, he's got Con Reese and Rich Blues behind him, but luckily he's just got enough of a gap to stay in front of them. So really, watch out for Demonar to start to attack, but Fluffy Planet is giving Dave the Harp a good old slam on the rear there.
Yeah, number one mistake from you. Get in there. But yeah, Fluffy Planet is on a charge and making Dave the Harp try and defend his position. Demonar closing in on them. SGP needs to try and hug his rear bumper if he can. Bunsall having a good race as well, sitting there at 6. Oh, Con Reese. Okay, that was a bit of lag, I think.
Yeah, I thought he was going straight off into the field of cows on there, but yeah, glitched back onto circuit. Fluffy Planet, Bunsall's become a bit of a roadblock there for Demonar, but he's managed to make his way through with SGP. Fluffy Planet, what's going on here?
Oh, Demonar's just gone straight between Dave the Harp and Fluffy Planet into the cambered right-hander. SGP trying to follow him, can't quite get all the way there because Dave the Harp is still there, but who's that off? That's Groover. Groover's into the barrier.
Yes, Groover started from pole position, and right now it's looking pretty much of a, well, I don't know what to say other than it's a pretty naff effort today.
Who are you talking about there?
Groover.
Oh, right,
Groover,
okay.
Driving into the wall.
Oh, right, okay. I thought he was on about my commentary. SGP managed to get past Dave the Harp. Not easy to do, but you can see the benefit of the fresher tyres. Mandalorian now into the pit lane. Where is he going to come out? Steve F1 into the pit lane as well. So Demonar is going to take the lead of the race. SGP sitting in 2nd place. Con Reese now in 3rd. Who is in...
Mandalorian's just come out of the pit in 2nd place. He's just come out of the pit just in front of SGP. So now he's got slightly fresher tyres, not as fresh as earlier, but I say the fight's right. He's on once again for Demonar and Mandalorian.
It is. Okay, Bunsall attacking Dave the Harp. The interesting thing there with Demonar and Mandalorian as well is if Demonar hadn't have held up Mandalorian, Mandalorian would have come out ahead of him. More Twilight all over the side of Con Reese and making the move. But as they head into the next left-hander, he may be hung out to dry a little bit. Formula Gary in the background trying to follow him. Oh!
So close. Once you get on that grass, you're heading to seeing an accident, and luckily there for Twilight, just enough tarmac to keep that car on track.
Yeah, and Steve F1 having come... I mean, that's unlucky for Steve F1. Mandalorian comes out of the pits in 2nd place. Steve F1 comes out of the pits in 7th.
Yeah, so that just shows you how close the pack are, and how critical it is to try and use the grip of the tyres while you've got it. Because once you start being held up by other drivers, as Con Reese looks to be having another connection issue there. Once you start getting held up by other drivers, that pretty much depletes your advantage of the fresh grip.
Yeah, and Steve F1 making a move on Formula Gary straight away into the hairpin. That's a nice sneaky move there, and the benefit of the fresher tyres. Or Twilight making a move on Con Reese, though. Or was he defending? I think he was defending, but this is allowing Steve F1 to get really, really close.
No, Con Reese just went deep into the hairpin, and that just allowed Twilight through. But now SGP has got Formula Gary all over his rear end.
Has he? I thought it was Steve F1. Yeah, come on, number 2.
No! Well, it's alright. It's 32, you know.
Well, yeah, that is true. Okay, so Mandalorian is closing the gap on Demonar. Now, these two this time around have got very similar levels of tyre wear. I'm wondering, if Demonar perhaps was able to knock an extra pit stop off by running that longer second stint there, which now means that it could be a straight-out fight between Demonar, Mandalorian, and SGP.
I don't think, with the tyre wears that we've seen around here, I don't think that these guys are going to be able to get to the end. They're still going to have to do at least one more pit stop. So I'd say the fight is on, and right now, these front two, and maybe even SGP, are really pulling a gap over the rest of the pack.
Yeah, and so far in the GR3EVO Cup Championship, or just GR3EVO Cup, we haven't seen a split pack form in the previous races. And to be fair, there's only a little bit of a gap, but I don't think the gap is big enough to pit and come out ahead of the pack.
Yeah, so I think if you're going to pit right now, you probably end up in around 10th place. So it's possible, though. It's showing that is a possibility. But once these two start fighting, that gap's not going to increase anymore.
Yeah, Demon R going defensive into the hairpin. He's just fully aware the Mandalorian is right behind him. Now, we have seen Mandalorian take some risks in the past. What's he going to do on this occasion? Because he knows the opportunity is there for the victory today. He won last time out in Monza, so he knows he's more than capable. He's having a look around the outside, but Demon R's a sneaky little bugger when it comes to positioning his car.
Yeah, and SGP there in the background, he's on the same tyre wear levels as Demon R. Really, he could just sit and watch and hopefully close in as these two start to battle.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. As soon as you start going defensive, you instantly start losing time. And if you're the one trying to overtake, if you don't get past, you're also losing time. But here we go, side by side, heading up to the flat-out left-hander, turn 2. And who is going to hold on to what position? Demon R, he's going full-on defensive here, James.
Yeah, so Mandalorian's going to have to either push him off the road or find an extra piece of tarmac that doesn't exist to get through. But here we go, he's trying it up the inside. Oh, and a little bit of contact, but I think that's a little bit rubbing rather than smashing there.
Yeah, rubbing is racing, as they say, and side by side they still are. And interestingly, Mandalorian, being the car behind James, he's got every opportunity. He can choose where he's going to position his car, and he's trying to get Demon R out of position to get a better exit to take that place. Ooh, this could be exciting. What is Mandalorian going to do? What is Demon R going to do into the long cambered right-hander? Mandalorian's going for the inside tighter line, and he manages to sneak through. But is that the attack over? No, it's not. Demon R is fighting back. He's got the outside line towards the hairpin. Ooh, we're going to carry on, James.
Yeah, so down into the hairpin, this is crucial. Can Mandalorian take the speed round the outside of the hairpin? No, Demon R's just got enough grip to keep in front. So once again, the fight's on for the lead. Demon R retakes the lead.
Yeah, and SGP will be watching this and will be close. Oh, Mandalorian going for it down into the final couple of corners. Can he get it stable on the brakes? Yes, he does. Side by side they go. He's going to have the inside line into the final corner. Demon R gives him the room, and Mandalorian takes the lead.
Yeah, Mandalorian, just once he were in front, just placed his car in a position where Demon R, he'd have had to drive into a disappearing wedge to carry on, but he's trying it again on the outside of turn 1 for a switchback.
Oh, it's a switchback to the outside. Oh, he's on the grass though. Oh, I thought he was going to spin around then.
I'm surprised he got a hell of a lot of grip on that grass out there. But he's just managed to keep in play for attack back into the next hairpin.
Yeah, that he is. So Mandalorian on the tighter line. What is Demon R going to do? Oh, you see there straight away, he's already got a decent exit. Mandalorian, though, closing the door on him. SGP is now really closing in on these two as Mandalorian gets himself a little bit of a breather for a moment.
Yeah, so here we go. I think Mandalorian right now just needs to try and pull a gap, but has he ruined his tyres just trying to get past Demon R?
Well, that's a very, very good question. An answer I do not have. But what I can tell you is SGP, he's not driving in a way that's going to be hurting his tyres in any way, shape or form at the moment. And he really is closing in. Demon R taking a very, very high line on this occasion around the cambered long right-hander. And is Mandalorian going to have to defend down into the hairpin? For the rest of the pack though, James, okay, we're not seeing them at the moment, but just to give some info. Oh no, Demon R's going for it up the inside. Mandalorian spots the dastardly attempt of an overtake, and side by side they're going to the third gear left-hander up the hill when Mandalorian holds on to the lead.
Yeah, but crucially there, he almost lost the rear end going up the hill and just about managed to hold on to the race lead. So this is once again he's going defensive as well, so I think Mandalorian may have just absolutely tuned his tyres, and this has allowed SGP to close in.
Yeah, or I thought Mandalorian was going for the pit lane then, but yeah, SGP, look how close he is, or Demon R's having a look up the inside into turn 1. Mandalorian giving him the room. He's going to be going for a switchback, is he? No, he's just going to try and hang it all the way around the outside. Now we're going to go side by side up towards turn 2, and this is just going to benefit SGP.
Right, so here we go. Demon R tucks into the slipstream to try and get a run into the next hairpin. And which way is Mandalorian going to go? He's going to cover the middle of the road there.
This is fantastic stuff. This is absolutely fantastic. Demon R, trying to sneak up the inside of Mandalorian, becomes the outside. He's going to be hung out to dry out there. Yeah, tucks in behind SGP. SGP's in an interesting situation. If he gets in this fight, it could end in disaster. If he just plays his cards right, he could benefit more than the two ahead of him.
Indeed, but all that's happening right now, as we can see on his track map, that gap between the top 3 and the pack behind was about 8 seconds. It's now down to 6, so all this battling is really allowing the rest of the pack to close back in on these front 3.
Oh, Mandalorian taking the tighter line into the long right-hander. Demon R is riding up the hill along with SGP, and that it's interesting, the two different lines there. Mandalorian gains in the long right-hander, but on the exit of the corner, Demon R is just closing right back up to where it was before, and Mandalorian defending the hairpin. SGP a little late on the brakes, gives Demon R a bit of a tap, and to be fair, I think SGP is letting Demon R keep the position. Got to say, great respectful race in there.
The Demon R almost run wide there. That's allowed SGP, even though he's let him back through, it's allowed him to claw all over the back of him, but that's just allowed Mandalorian to sprint away by a few car lengths.
Yeah, so we've got it's about 11.5 minutes left on the clock for this race, and all of these guys are going to be pitting at least once more, and Mandalorian is into the pit lane, and interestingly, Demon R and SGP have not followed him in. Mandalorian's going to get a monster of an undercut on them.
But is this I think he wanted to come out in front of the pack, and here's Steve F1 giving him a run for his money out of the pit lane.
Yeah, Steve F1, he'll do everything he can to hold on to that 3rd place, which is going to be costly for Mandalorian. Mandalorian needs to dispatch Steve as quickly as possible so he can start catching the leading 2, so that when they pit, he is miles ahead, and around the outside he's going. You can tell that he's pushing, but Steve F1, excuse me, covers it off.
Yeah, so right now,
excuse me.
32-2. Right, here we go. We've got, so SGP, yeah, he's you can see SGP and Demon R, you can see how close they are. If Mandalorian could get past Steve F1, he could really close in on the back of the front 2 and then pretty much decide his strategy from there. But right now, he's having to fight for all he's worth just to get past Steve F1.
Yeah, Steve F1's having an absolute stonker here, but he's definitely not making it easy for Mandalorian. Is Steve F1? No, Steve F1 does not defend the inside corner, or the inside of the corner. Mandalorian goes for that inside. Who's going to have the better exit? Steve F1 does.
Yeah, take the outside line, being out on Matt Camper just means you've got a good run down to the hairpin, and he covers it off.
That's brilliant defending, that is. This will be frustrating Mandalorian. It's possible he's not gaining anywhere near as much as he should. Or is he going to go for a little switchback on the exit? I think he tried, but Steve F1, he knows how to defend.
Indeed, so the race leaders, I believe that they are heading into the pit lane because the pit crew are out there.
Yeah, I think you're right. Demon R heading into the pits. SGP, what's he going to do? Into the pits he goes. You can see that Steve F1 and Mandalorian have closed in on them a bit. The question is, where are they going to come out? Mandalorian, though, he needs to get a shift on. But Steve F1 leads the race, and Demon R comes out in 3rd and can see Mandalorian and Steve F1. SGP comes out in 7th place, so a few cars between himself and Demon R. But that's a perfect timing for Demon R, and potentially this battle massively costly for Mandalorian. Has he finally dispatched Steve F1? No, he hasn't.
No, so I think that undercut that he wanted to have so that he could potentially drive away at this point has completely gone out the window. He's got stuck behind Steve F1 and Demon R has pitted 1 lap later, and that gap's just decreasing massively.
Yeah, that it is. Steve F1 going defensive again. Mandalorian with a much better exit on this occasion as they head towards the fast kink. Got to be careful on that inside as the rear gets unstable. Steve F1 still defending. He's making a real fight of this. This is great battling up at the front. Mandalorian though all the way around the outside. He finally gets ahead of Steve F1, but can he hold on to it?
Yeah, but we saw earlier that he spent so long fighting with Demon R that eventually his tyres were cooked once he got in front. Could that lap and a half of fighting with Steve F1 just have ruined his strategy of going to the end of the race?
Quite possibly. Formula Gary sitting in 6th place at the moment as Fluffy Planet is trying to attack Twilight into the hairpin. I've got to say, I do like that livery of Gary's there, but Twilight and Fluffy side by side. I think Fluffy's got the inside line. Demon R is already on the back of Steve F1 as they head into the final couple of corners. And Demon R probably doesn't need to be in as much of a rush as Mandalorian was. Demon R looking at going for a little bit of a switch back here, side by side they go. And I think Steve F1 has backed out of it there. I think he may be heading for the... Hang on a minute, Mandalorian's in the pits.
Yeah, so I think that strategy of going for an undercut with the battling with Steve F1 has completely scuppered it, and now he's trying to go and do the same as what Demon R's done in that strategy there by pitting 1 lap later. But crucially, he's going to be way down the field. He's got Twilight, Dave the Arp and SGP to overtake before he gets within fighting distance of Demon R.
Yeah, definitely. So Mandalorian has come out in 5th place, as we can see there. And Rich Blues, the race posted. Oh, Mandalorian goes sideways. That won't help his tyres, but obviously he is pushing hard, and in a way he needs to. But yeah, Rich Blues started on pole position, didn't have the best of starts as Mandalorian goes for a switch back on Twilight. That's the move done. But yeah, Rich Blues has managed to recover quite nicely, up to 6th at the moment, but he has got Steve F1 and Bunsell hunting him down. So what can Mandalorian do? What can Steve F1 do? What can Rich Blues, Twilight and Bunsell do?
Yeah, so right now the next car for Mandalorian to close in on will be Dave the Harp in 3rd place, but he's still a fair way away, and Demon R right now, he's got nobody challenging him as Steve F1's up the inside of Rich Blues.
Oh, he got a little bit sideways there as well, and Rich Blues is fighting back. That's what I like to see. Rich Blues is saying, you might be a friend of mine, but I'm having that position back. Oh, Bunsell and I think it was Fluffy Planet. Yeah, got a little bit of contact. Steve F1, sorry, Steve F1 was making the move as well on Rich Blues into the hairpin. I'm not sure if it was an intentional move though.
They actually run a bit wide, and that's allowed Mandalorian straight through into 3rd. That's what Mandalorian needed, and he's up into 3rd. So next up for him will be SGP.
Yeah, that it is. So he's managed to, like you said, get himself up to 3rd place at the moment. Steve F1's got himself up to 5th place. I tell you what, regardless of what happens in that top 5, all Twilight, where's he going? He's going for the pit lane. I was going to say the battle from 6th down is ever so close.
Yeah, indeed. So they're out the top 3 with Dave the Arp in 4th. Steve F1, he's always one to watch out for, but this pack behind is really close with Fluffy Planet, Bunsell and Formula Gary.
Yeah, Rich Blues attacking Bunsell as well, but has to back out of that one as Fluffy Planet is trying to get all over the back of Formula Gary. Gary goes defensive, and Fluffy Planet is attacking. I don't think he's not been able to make the move though, unfortunately. Can't quite see it in the background. No, side by side they go, but Steve F1 is also attacking Dave the Harp. Dave the Harp's tyres, I think, are on the way out.
Yeah, and he left the door crucially wide open there for Steve F1 to drive straight through. And that's Steve F1 on his way, so could this be the reversal of fortune now? He's not had a great race in the opening stints as Steve F1, but he's really looking in a good position now to try and get on the podium. Yeah,
I mean, he's got the same tyre life as Mandalorian, or they pitted at the same time, I should say. That battle from 6th down, Formula Gary still ahead of Fluffy Planet, who's just ahead of Bunsell, who just had a little bit of lag, but Bunsell is just ahead of Rich Blues as well, and I think Twilight is closing in on them. Yes, he is. He's got the fresher tyres of this pack of cars, and Formula Gary is actually closing in on Dave the Harp.
Yeah, so right now, Dave the Harp, I think his strategy has gone completely arse end up. Yeah, because there's only 4 minutes left of this race and he needs a new set of tyres, otherwise he's going to be last.
Yeah, well, Formula Gary's made a beautiful overtake on him up the hill. Fluffy Planet having a look around the outside. Dave Harp, if he is going to be going for the pits, he's going to be wanting to hug the right-hand side of the track here. Steve F1 is closing in on Mandalorian, by the way, but he's very, very busy in the background. Yeah, Dave Harp does peel off into the pit lane, so he's going to go for a fast stint on a brand new set of tyres.
I'm thinking Mandalorian's lost his head here, realising he's not closing in as fast as he needs to on the front two, which is Demon Eye and SGP, and that just allows Steve F1 to turn up and say, hey, I'll have a bit of that podium if you don't want it.
Yeah, definitely, and he's trying to take it as well. Mandalorian trying to defend the inside line. Oh, Steve F1's just run a little bit wide. That gives Mandalorian a breather. I mean, if we take a look at the track map, James, we can see that Demon Eye has got a healthy little gap ahead of SGP, and the gap between SGP and Mandalorian is a little bit bigger than that. So, yeah, I think Mandalorian's chances of fighting for the victory here may have gone, and questions will be asked in his pit crew about whether that last pit stop was the right thing to do. Twilight with a lovely undercut on Fluffy Planet there, and you know what, Rich Blue's getting his elbows out, following him through, or not quite.
Yeah, so right now Bunsel's going to be coming under attack because Twilight is on way fresher tyres, so I'm pretty sure through this very long right-hander Twilight's going to be making a move pretty quickly. Yeah, up the inside he goes, but Bunsel's hugging that outside line.
That he is. So Bunsel's managed to hold on to the position. You know, Fluffy Planet out of nowhere makes the move on Twilight and is in position to attack. Yeah, he's got Bunsel as well. What an overtake, but here comes Twilight coming back up Fluffy Planet. This is absolutely brilliant. Ooh. As Rich Blues gives the barrier a smacking.
Yeah, so that's not looking good for him. Dave the Art pitted and he's at the back of that pack as well. But once again, Steve F1 is not giving up on that podium, and why should he? I'm thinking he's wanting a bit of that champagne.
Yeah, I think you could be right. You know what, James? I'm looking at the time clock at the moment. We've currently got 1 minute 45 left on the time clock. I don't think everybody's going to get another lap after this one. Maybe the front two could, but other than that, I think we're on to the last lap of the race. So this is a battle to the end of this lap between Mandalorian and Steve F1 for who is going to be taking that third place on the podium, and I've no idea who I put my money on, because Steve F1 makes a lovely overtake into the cambered hairpin. What can Mandalorian do?
I'm thinking Mandalorian. I think his head's gone. I think as soon as he knew that he wasn't going to be able to fight for the win, I think his head's just completely gone.
Quite possibly, he may be kicking himself for making that later pit stop, but it's kind of catch-22, isn't it, James? If you don't think the tyres are going to last, you might as well pit.
Yeah, but I think with the pace he's had, I think, he's having a little look up the inside. Oh, a little bit of contact, Steve F1, and that's allowed him to run wide, and here we go, they're going to go side by side into the very long, never-ending right-hander.
Yeah, I think it's definitely, you can tell Mandalorian seeing a little bit of the red mist as the little bumps and nudges come in. I think though Steve F1, as much as he'll be hating being under this much pressure, he'll be loving it because he knows it's a fight for the podium. Into the hairpin they go. Yes, I think we are going to, this is definitely the last lap for these two. We'll see what happens with the leaders in a moment. Steve F1 going defensive into the left hand uphill, but Mandalorian's got a better exit. Steve F1's ran wide. Steve F1's binned it, and that's going to be fourth place for him. Mandalorian recovers for the third place, and Demon Eye is going slow. He's going slow, James.
Nah, I think he's just letting that clock run out. It's gone over for 40 minutes, so there we go. He's got the win, and he doesn't have to do an extra lap. So there's SGP in P2, and Mandalorian comes off the line to get P3. And I think he'll be almost satisfied with that.
Oh, look at this, Formula Gary, 5th place, Fluffy Planet 6th, Rich Blue 7th, Conreese on his debut 9th, I think Bunsel finished in 8th, Dave Harp only 10th place for him, Groover finishes 11th, and Twilight crossing the line in 12th place. And
I'm surprised with what happened with Twilight there. We're having such a good race.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's a bit devastating really for the two guys that were on the front row of the grid to finish on the back row.
Not quite. Yeah, 32-3. Rich Blues starts at pole, finished 7th, his best result in the DGT League.
Who did I just see?
Groover and Twilight.
Yeah.
You see now, Twilight was leading the race after the start. That may be where the confusion came in.
I thought Groover side on front row. Sorry.
It might have been Rich Blues and Groover side by side on the front row. But yeah, it was Rich Blues' best result. Unfortunate for Groover. I'm guessing something happened to Twilight on that final lap, because he had pitted and had the fresher tyres, apart from Dave the Harp, and was looking for a good result. But I've got to say, what a race, James. It would be easy to say, well, as usual in the DGT League, action from start to finish, but I've got to say the quality of action today was phenomenal.
Yeah, indeed. There was some really, really hard racing out there. A few bumps here and there, but nothing that would force somebody off the track.
That we saw. I mean, I'm trying to think, if there was anyone that I would pick as a standout performer in that one, and it'd be very difficult to do, because it's not like I sit there and I've had a look at everybody's races, but when you just look at simply where people finished, you could go, okay, Demon R won the race, but we know he's capable of that. SGP, interesting race, because we didn't see him doing a lot, really.
No, we didn't. He were like Wham with George Michael.
Yeah.
Who's that second bloke in Wham?
No idea.
Exactly. That's what I feel like SGP were in this race.
Yeah, but
there, but nobody knows. He did a solid job to finish second.
Yeah.
But he didn't have to fight anybody to come with second. He probably the Prost drive there, using his head, not trying to keep out of trouble. Whereas people like Mandalorian were like,
I'm going to pit and get myself into trouble.
Let's go hell for leather. Let's see what happens.
It's interesting that you go from like Prost drive or Wham drive. I've never heard the expression Wham drive, but I do get the analogy. Steve F1. Interesting race from him, and I've got to say, once again showed his ability of defending, but unfortunately on that last lap, the left-hander up the hill, he was just so unlucky to run wide. But it benefited Mandalorian. Mandalorian kind of had a race of 3/4 and 1/4. 3/4 brilliant, honestly brilliant, and then 1/4 where I think you were right in saying his head may have gone a little bit, but still finished in third place. That's good for his championship standings. Steve F1 finishing fourth, that solid drive from him. But this is where it then gets interesting. Formula Gary finishing fifth. I think that's his best result. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it is.
I don't remember him finishing that high up. I think I were expecting Twilight to come away with fifth. They were having such a good race. Dave the Art, solid job, but his strategy were out with 2 laps to go where he was just falling back. And then probably left himself with too much to do within the last 2 laps, really.
Yeah.
Because it must take at least a full lap to close in on the pack, and then you've got to start doing your work. And when you've only got
1 lap,
less than 2 minutes to get through, things start getting a bit desperate then. Yeah,
they do. Fluffy Planet finishing 6th, I think. He showed a different level of his driving ability today. I would say a much more methodical drive from Fluffy Planet, and I'm trying to think of the right word. Glad to see it is the wrong word. Impressed. I'm impressed to see it. It's kind of like, I mean, if you were just to look at it, you've never watched before, and you look at it and you go, he got overtaken a few times and tried to attack back. But it's the comparison from the last championship to this championship. He's doing things now that are better for him, safer for him, faster for him, and gives him a better opportunity to re-overtake if he gets past. And he's not afraid to go for an overtake when the opportunity is correct. So great stuff from him. Rich Blues. Okay, again, you could look at that and go, well, he started on pole and he was in last at one point and he finished 7th. It'd be easy to go, not a very good drive that. But in actual fact, Rich Blues is in a whole new situation for him, starting on pole with the likes of the DGT grid behind him. So we saw in, I think it was the first race of the season, James, where Demon R got a horrible start with way too much wheel spin and ended up dropping multiple places, and unfortunately that's what happened to Rich Blues in this race. A little too much throttle at the start, a bit too much wheel spin, and got swamped. But the impressive thing is he kept his head and recovered, and that's the impressive thing. For him to finish in 7th place, I mean, we're on about Formula Gary having one of his best results, finishing 5th. Well, Rich Blues was what, a second behind him?
Yeah, so, it's not much.
Yeah, Bunsell was less than a second behind Rich Blues, and a great result for him. Yes, we can see that he's having a few connection issues, but I do know he is trying to work on that, and obviously he is himself concerned in case it does ruin other people's races. I don't think it's quite got to that point at the moment, so he's still able to race at the moment, and for him to finish in 8th place, it's a good result. Who finished in 9th?
Dave. I think Dave the Art finished around 10th.
I think he was 10th. I do apologise, I've completely forgotten who finished in 9th.
Twilight had a poor race. He's finished. He didn't have a poor race. His finishing position. I don't know what happened in the final 2 laps.
I think I did hear that he was involved in a collision that was not his fault, which dropped him back. Unfortunately, I'm going to kick myself for whoever it was that did finish 9th, because I really can't remember. You know, I'm going to have a look. Bear with me a second, because it'd be so cruel to just complete. Conreese, that's why. Sorry, Connor. It wasn't that I couldn't remember you, it's just that with you being new, I'd forgot you. I didn't remember, it's not that I didn't remember you, I just forgot you. So Conreese, his first race. Now, I know that he's been doing a lot of practice with the drivers, but as you know, James, practice very different to the racing.
Yeah, indeed. I think when people are practicing, they're a bit more chilled out, but then once that you know that points are on offer in the league race, it all becomes a bit more serious then. Yeah,
and also with it being obviously 40-minute races, if you've never experienced the pack properly before, first time experiencing it can be a little interesting. I also did notice as well, I mean, Conreese did use the soft compound tyre, and I have got my assistant having a quick chat with him at the moment to try and get a bit of information.
Since when did you get an assistant? How come I haven't got an assistant? What's going on?
Well, today I need an assistant. It might be getting fired though, with the amount of mistakes I've made. I've been reading his auto cues. I'm sure he's been on something. Okay, I am hearing that Conreese hadn't tried the super soft tyre and was happy with the soft tyre around this track. I'll tell you what, James, you can have my assistant. Bloody useless he is. But yeah, interestingly, this is a track where the super soft tyre actually lasted better than the soft, because the softs just slide a little bit too much. 10th place, I think, was Dave the Harp. Yeah, tough one for him. Groover 11th. Groover 11th. Tricky race for him. I know this is a track that he's not overly keen on, so I think the best thing you can say there, unfortunately, is at least he gets points.
What I always think is, if I'm not keen on a certain track myself, I'll just keep doing laps and laps and laps until I love it. Mm-hmm. I might hate it for hours on end.
Yeah.
And I'll get to a point where once you master it, you're like, oh, I like them little quirks because I've learned something.
Yes.
I've learned how to take that corner half a second quicker.
Yeah.
And other people haven't. So then, even though the circuit itself, initially when you look at it, you go, oh, I'm not a fan, because you've got them little tricks in your handbag.
Yeah.
You can then unleash them, and then it becomes more enjoyable.
Exactly. I couldn't have put it better myself, James. But obviously my assistant is better for you than he is for me. So, what else? I mean, you are right there. I know many people. I mean, okay, Twilight, for example, used to say he hated Cirque de l'Alsace, but once he got to know it, and once he got to know how to drive it, I don't think he hates it anymore. Yeah. And that's the interesting thing. Hate comes with the more knowledge you have, the more experience you have. I mean, it helps if you know what direction the corners are going. That's the big one. But yeah, I mean, I do want to mention as well, because I didn't get to mention it during the commentary there, that obviously there's a few drivers missing today. DGT League SRI, he's on holiday at the moment. Also Tyler and Schumacher, I'm not they were expected to be in the race, so I've got a feeling that they may have been captured by F1 2019 until they find out how bad a game that will be.
Well, if it's been captured, it's their loss.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, so I mean, if anyone is interested in getting involved in the DGT League, which is action-packed from start to finish, this is the place to be. Did I say in a DGT League? I meant in a GT League. DGT is the way to be. Yeah, okay, my brain can't take this today. So yeah, and the other thing I want to mention as well, because I heard there was an interesting conversation going on the grid, you know, James. So my assistant was a little bit helpful in this, giving me some radio information from the drivers, and both Dave the Harp and Fluffy Planet were complaining to the race director that they were in the wrong grid position.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh.
Dave the Harp saying, "Why am I in 6th?" Fluffy Planet saying, "Why am I in 4th?" or whatever position it was he was in. To which the race director said, "It's on reverse championship standings, you numpties, not reverse race result."
So yeah, some drivers need to probably go and read them race regulations.
Yes. So just to clarify, it is whatever the championship standings are, the grid is the reverse of it.
But yeah, all I'm thinking is the front three, especially SGP, Demon R, and Mandalorian. I think they're going to be very, very close on points, because I think Demon R's had a first, a third, and a first.
Yeah.
Mandalorian's had a second, a first, and a third.
Yeah. And
SGP, God, has he just been second?
He has, yeah. He does always go on about how he's the bridesmaid.
Yeah. Well, he's the wham extra, isn't he?
We're gonna have to do him a decal, aren't we? Wham.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I'll do it for you, James, and you can give it to Mandalorian to put on his car. Considering that SGP has got hashtag Mandy, you can have hashtag wham.
Yeah.
Wham bam, thank you, man.
I might put it on front bumper for Mandalorian, and then he can just drive into the back of the Mandy symbol.
Yeah, and then on the back have pow or kapow. Okay, but yeah, I've got to say once again, a fantastic race in the DGT League. Exciting stuff. The next race though, it's it's one of the Kyoto driving park layouts, and
if it's in Japan, you've got to say it like a Japanese man.
Kyoto driving park.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That one. I mean, there's a few different layouts, but there is a specific one, and I will confirm exactly which one it is before the end of this video. And that's another track that's kind of long, very fast. Bit of a tyre killer, but at the same time, it's one of those tracks, James, a bit like you mentioned, where some people are going to get there and go, "Oh, you know what, I don't like this track because I keep crashing in this corner." But once they find out or they work out how to take those corners, all of a sudden they'll be able to approach it with a smile on their face.
Indeed. Wham.
Exactly. Right, okay, I think it's time to take a look at the confirmed race result and the championship standings. Confirmation then of the race result, and no stewards reports have been put in this week from what I gather, so well done drivers. Let's see, Demon R does take the victory and SGP takes second place. Mandalorian, who'll be kicking himself, finished third with Steve F1 in fourth. Formula Gary with a fantastic result to finish in fifth place, while Fluffy Planet finished in sixth. Rich Blues, let's all celebrate, it's his best result of the championship season so far, seventh place for him. Bunsell finished in eighth place with Con Reese finishing ninth on his debut. Dave the Harp finished in 10th place and Groover 11th with Twilight in 12th. Okay, in a moment we shall take a look at the championship standings after race 3, which will decide the grid order for race 4, which I believe is going to be from Kyoto Driving Park Yamamoto 2 or Yamagiwa 2. It's one of those. Okay, the current championship standings then. Demon R retakes the lead. First place for him on 55 points, with Mandalorian now in second place, 3 points behind. DGT League SGP also 3 points behind in third place, and then we've got a bit of a gap to Steve F1, who has now taken fourth. Fluffy Planet is in fifth place, with Formula Gary sitting in sixth. Dave the Harp is seventh on 26 points, and then we have Groover and Bunsell sharing eighth place, both on 20 points. Jason in 10th on 17 points, with Twilight and Rich Blues both in 11th place on 15 points, with DGT League SRI, having not raced, still on 10 points. He's now in 13th place, with Con Reese in 14th, which means if Schumacher and Tyler are a no-show, Con Reese will be on pole position at the next race, with DGT League SRI alongside him. The next race could be a fantastic one, just as this one has been today. If you do want to get involved in a racing league on GT Sport, then feel free to check out Dynamic GT League's Facebook page or their YouTube channel. Drop them a message and they'll see if they can get you involved. I've been Dave from I'll Tell You What TV, the unofficial F1 podcast, and make sure you come and join us for the next race. See you all again soon.